for me.
What they score and learn for me. Mama, can't you see?
What they score is hard for me.
What they score. Mama, can't you see?
What they score is hard for me.
What they score and learn for me.
Put me in a barber's chair.
Put me in a barber's chair.
Snap, snap, and I had no hair.
Snap, snap, and I had no hair.
And if I die in a combat zone,
If I die in a combat zone,
box me up and ship me home.
box me up and ship me home.
Put me in a set of dress blues.
Put me in a set of dress blues.
Comb my hair, shine my shoes.
Comb my hair and shine my shoes.
In my middle upon my chest.
Pin my medals upon my chest.
Tell my mama I did my best.
Tell my mama I did my best.
My mama, don't you cry.
Mama, don't you cry.
Break on motto is do or die.
Great corn motto is do or die.
Say love cry Leo.
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 Love cry.
Motivating.
Takes you straight back, right?
Yup.
Right? Oh my God.
Yep.
No doubt. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for attending today's Vets and Crypto show. I'm your boy Vets. Good to see everybody. We've got an all-star cast here. Got Mr. Bob Laguy, the one and only. Hey, hey. We got Sergeant Wobble. Thank you for joining us. And the one and the only, Casey. How are you, brother?
Pleasure to be here.
Good, good. Thanks you guys for joining. Appreciate it. As we see here in the comment section here, Mr. Balliot Brand, who's one of the truest and youngest cats in the game here, right? He's actually a local Seattle PNW cat. So we do our local meetups, try to get together like once a month. And we got a good group. We got our own private Telegram and everything. So we're always putting events together. We got, I mean, we're really blessed. We got RH Max, Balliot Brand. I mean, quite a few others. Steve D. I mean, we just, there's a good handful of peeps in our local Hexagon group that we have. We're very blessed. So Harmonic Hexagon, welcome. Thank you. So today we're just gonna shoot the shit, introduce you guys, get to know everybody. That's part of the theme of the show, is getting to know our military and first responders that are in the crypto communities in general. There's no Marxism here. We want to hear about other projects, what you're doing, other chains. We're like-minded individuals. Obviously, we have this common bond to begin with, and especially as devil dogs, most importantly in this episode. So it is what it is. So without further ado, we'll jump with Mr. Casey first. If you want to introduce yourself, let the kids at home know what you've been up to and what you're all about.
Sure. Yeah. Casey here, also known as Casey the Hexagon. Been around in crypto space 2015. Really started digging into it. Like Balliot Brand was saying, went to that first Hex meetup in Vegas. Came with no expectations, but left just absolutely impressed. And one of the things that it really started bringing me back to, and at this time, I didn't know that RG3 and some of these other people were Marines and whatnot, but it had that same like flavor to it, that culture of like, oh, this is something cool. This is unique. I haven't seen that since I got out of the Marine Corps. And so I left wanting more and just kind of dug into the community more and just crypto in general. And yeah, it was great. I served in the Marines from 2006 to 2014. Did 3 tours, 2 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. Then went back as a defense contractor working on electric warfare equipment, so jammers and whatnot for helping deter IED bombs and whatnot. That was for both the Afghan army as well as allied forces. And got out and just started working. I still stayed in IT. Right now I'm still working as for a county. I manage all the radio networks for public safety. And that's what I've been doing the last 10 years. And then crypto on the side. So that's it.
Right on. Yeah. So hence the radio in the background. I got you. Nice. Yeah. Good shit. Mr. Bob Guy, how are you, sir?
Hey there, doing good. Yeah, I actually, Casey, I was in right about the same dates as you. It was late 05 to early 13 for me. Yep. And then kind of similar. Got out and did part of my story includes getting injured in Afghanistan, and then part of that recovery was basically doing like an IT type internship. I basically went from an 0351 all but officially crossed over to an 0651. So that's your standard data devices and networks technician, and then did basically walk straight out and then right back in as a civilian working for NMCI, if you guys remember that, the Navy Marine Corps, the guys that used to run the network about 10, 12 years ago. And then did that for about a year and a half. And then I actually got into a little more radio communications myself too. I worked at one of the installations that's closer to my my hometown where I recruited out of. They support a lot of long haul point to point radio and VSAT, so small terminal satellite dishes, two-way satellite dishes, that kind of thing. So yeah, and then crypto got into bought the top, really like almost the Pico top in 20. Basically, my first buys were December of 17. So yeah. I definitely went along with Richard. So I had just discovered Richard Hart right about that time through his interview with Roger Ver. I thought that he was like the only person out there giving Roger Ver like a fair shake and a fair debate, And so I appreciated that about him because I thought the Bitcoin Cash was cool at the time. I still don't think it's bad, I'll never hate it because it got me to where I'm at, right? So, but that was kind of like the start of my crypto journey. And then he was still talking about CFD token back then, the computational fluid dynamics token that he was wanting to do. Well, I had been into small cap mining, so using a few graphics cards to actually mine different cryptos. So I really wanted to mine that stuff whenever he came out with it. So I was a little disappointed when he pivoted and said, I'm going to scrap that and do Hex, but it's worked out pretty good so far.
Yeah, no doubt. Yes. So were you mining Ethereum or anything of that nature?
Never actually mined Ethereum. I mined, I mined mostly Ravencoin. I think I'd have to go back and look and see a couple other smaller projects. I did the nice hash thing for a while. So whatever, basically it mines whatever you can mine best and then auto converts it into Bitcoin. So
yeah, it was just easy. Mr. Sergeant Wobble, good day to you.
Good day. Thank you guys. Appreciate your, generosity for letting me come on here and talk. Of course. I was in from 2003 to 2011, infantry, all throughout Asia, first deployment, like everywhere. And I was on the Mew. I don't know if, for those out there, that's a ship. I was on a ship for like 4.5 months. The rest of it was all throughout Asia. And then second tour was Afghanistan. I was going to go to Iraq, but broke my wrist. So I had to be rear party. Yay. But it is what it is. I actually learned a lot, being rear party. Like how the inside of the Marine Corps worked, right? Because we always, as infantry guys, we just, hey, we do what we were told to do, go where we're told to go, and that's about it. But I got to see the inner workings of how everything went on, and I developed a deep love for just the other guys that were part of our unit. You know what I mean? Not just the Marines, the cooks, the admin, everybody, because we all serve a purpose. You know what I mean? It's not just as we like to call them, a bunch of pogues, because they're not. You know what I mean? Like, they aren't grunts. I'll give them that. But you know what? Still a Marine, still a rifleman. You know what I mean?
Posting up your own security.
Right. So yeah, with that, I had 4 surgeries: elbow, wrist, shoulder, back. Elbow, wrist, shoulder. Yeah. So, it was a tough time for me. I've been through some battles. When I got out, I got a job with Apple. I worked there for 4 years. Kind of learned the inner workings of how I've always been in computers, right? Like, there's that stereotype, right, for us Marines. Oh, technology? You're a Marine? It's that face, like, yes, yes, I do. Actually, I've been building computers for, I don't even know how long, 20 plus years. So yeah, I once that happened, actually I had to have a surgery on my back again in 2018 or 2015, and I was like, okay, that's it. So ever since then, been 100%, which for those out there that don't know, like, if you're a veteran and you're not taking care of yourself and you don't understand how the VA works, hit me up. I will give you the blueprint and the roadmap of what to do.
Signed up.
Yeah, 100%. Get signed up, because you know what, man, we all fought for something, whether you're an infantry guy, like I said, admin, it doesn't matter. You all deserve benefits if you served. So, yeah, if you ever need help, let me know. Yeah. And then, after that transition, had a real bad battle with PTSD. It was rough, kind of the kind where I didn't want to be here anymore. So it was hard. And when I did that, I started doing more streaming. So that was kind of my way out of it. Actually, I started streaming a bunch of video games. I do have a really crazy setup. If you think I'm a geek really at heart, but crazy setup. And yeah, it streamed, and that really helped me get out of kind of my shell. And then I started learning about mining. So I helped my friend build it was like, I can't remember the exact number, but we're thinking like, I think 12 or 13 GPUs, like a bunch of 3060 or 2060s, 3060s, a few 3090s. I don't even remember how many, but regardless of that, we were mining ETH. It was cool. Big rig, for the size of what he had. And then he's the one who actually introduced me to like Hex, and he took all of the money or the ETH that we got and put it into Hex and staked it, and that was that. And so that's his thing, like I at the time I was just like, cool, all right, like, I got my little bit of percent and I put it into something called OMI. I don't know if you're familiar with OMI, but OMI is it's part of the Akomi family, and it's something that I don't know if you've heard Vivi. They're like an NFT app, Vivi, and they have IPs from Disney, Marvel, like just crazy IPs. Check them out. It's an app. It's Vivi, VEVE, and I put a lot of my earnings that I had gotten into OMI. It's about $8,000, and it tanked, but that's the life, right? It's like this, and if you don't stay for the ride, you never know where it's gonna go.
Always keep a moon bag, right? At least.
Right. And then yeah, more recently, in end of November, I started buying Pulse Chain, and then I bought in about, I don't care about people knowing what I got. I put about 5K in at 4 zeros, 5-2. I don't know how you'll call that, but I got in real low. And then I staked it on a validator, which I built. I built my friend one too as well.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I'm in, I love that guy, David Fetter. That guy's legit.
Right? Yeah.
He is legit. So shout out to David if he ever watches this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then ever since then, my friend, like I said, who I built the mining for, I also work with him doing testosterone replacement therapy, which I help people get into that if they're interested, if they want to learn more and whatnot. So that's what I've been doing, and then my podcast. So, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this long-winded.
You're fine, man.
So mindset driven. I had a charity before, right? I used to you could see all this stuff behind me, but I used to build computers for veterans in need. It was called Charlie Mike Project, and it's still technically active, but with all the way the prices skyrocketed with all the different computer parts, it just kind of took a downturn, and I just couldn't afford to do it. So I was like, well, how can I do something else and to help veterans? And the mindset driven kind of became a thing. And I interviewed not just veterans, but all people, because everybody has a story, right? Nobody's, not special enough to share their story, right? And that was important to me because life lessons happen to so many different people, and you may not experience them yourselves, but if you can find value in others, lessons in life, like that's important. And so that's why I created it. So I did about 6-7 episodes. It's been a little tough the past couple months, but I'm gonna get back into it here shortly. Just been working on some other things with my family, and then that's that. But yeah, I'd love to interview all of you one time if you get a chance. I don't know your schedules, but yeah, I just like helping people. It's inherently in my DNA. Anything that comes from, I was homeless as a child, ages 5 through 7, all throughout California, shelter to shelter to shelter. So, when I see people in need, it really hits home. It just does.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Wow. I mean, you're like the epitome of what this show is for and what it means. And like, yeah, so I'm happy that like you found your escapism to help you with streaming and whatnot, and just just how you've grown and how it's helped you in your specific situation. And here, look at you now, man. I mean, you're here and you're doing it, and God bless all the things that you've done, just with helping other fellow veterans, and that's a big part of what I want this show to become, as well as sharing information and knowledge. Just even you offering your assistance with any other fellow veterans that pop through here that are trying to navigate the VA and benefit. Like it's yeah, it's a whole thing. No doubt about it. So back to validating. I'm doing I got 10 validators myself, and not knowing Linux or anything of that nature, I'm just been kind of winging it. I've had great help. Initially RH Max helped me out tremendously, and then I worked with Fetter. This last bit was Fetter, and then Gamma was the third guy. So I went through all three of them. So you're talking like hitting this guy, me, the noob, crash course in Linux, and just what and got it up and running, and it's been solid. But all three of those guys are I recommend all of them, whatever route you decide to go, or whoever script or whatever you decide to use. They're all talented in their own ways, and give back to the community. I mean, RH is crazy for like the amount of streams that the content he's putting out there all the time. Fetter's always doing his thing. Have you guys seen like he teamed up with the goat team, and now they have the NFT protocols and whatnot. Or do you know a little more on that one, Bob?
Well, I've been a fan of Crypto Black Sheep for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought I always liked his the Hex song he released. That's actually the first. I think he recorded the first Hex theme song.
Okay.
He was talking about 1000X's stimulus check. So it's either right around the time he and Freddie right around. That's how I heard of him. So I drop in on his stream now and then. I mean, not as a guest, but just in the chat, just saying hi, because they were always pretty honest. Like, a lot of people in the beginning were trying to get people to only talk about Hex, and that's fine, but he was just never going to be that way. So a lot of people stopped staying in touch with him. But I've always kind of kept it, I keep dropping in every now and then. He has a show every day, but they get into all kinds of stuff. They're doing reflection tokens on V.I.C and all kinds of crazy stuff. But but he's the guy that runs the DGen protocol Twitter, and he's the guy that put together I can't remember what they're calling their, just at the moment I can't remember what they're calling their staking protocol, but it's like it's sort of like Rocket Pool, where whoever's doesn't have the hardware, basically how it's working in the background is Feeder is setting up the hardware and loading them up with Pulse. And then the pooling aspect is you buy one of these NFTs, and that's, you buy it for a set amount of Pulse. I think it's 8 million. So basically 1/4 of a validator. And then it earns, it's basically they've got it set up to where the proceeds, when it pays out, to those NFTs that are tied with each validator. Yeah.
So it's kind of like for those that do
lazy
LPs.
Guys like me that don't want to run hardware.
Well, yeah, but just even a good entry level opportunity for many people, instead of doing 32 million per validator. I mean, this is a great entry for those that don't have the full 32. There's a lot of moving parts behind it, right? But I mean, they're all known face founders and people in the community, and I that's one I believe in and would go with if I needed to.
I think what kind of sets apart this community is everyone kind of has their niches and everyone knows where to go, right? And it's kind of like what the sergeant was talking about. It's like, you got your grunts and you got your supply and admin, you got your gurus here, and our community just sticks that way. I mean, and we know who to go to get the right answer, because we know that they're keeping up on specific segments of our ecosystem, and that sets us apart from a lot of different ecosystems, I think.
Yeah, the knowledge, they're some of the smartest people in crypto, I think, are, graduated from the teachings of RH, Richard Hart and whatnot. If you don't know who he is, you should look him up and watch, go back and just immerse yourself. And things that he said years ago are true to this day. It's amazing. He's a visionary in the crypto industry. And let alone just touching on that aspect of it, being staked in Hex and whatnot, and having a staking ladder saved me during this last bear market when everything else was falling apart and crumbling. Celsius, 3 Arrows, Sam Bankman, everything like that. This the whole preaching of not your keys, not your coins. It's true. It's true. Peeps just learn the hard way, but you don't know what you don't know, and security is a big aspect of all of this. And I know probably all of you have thoughts to chime in on that aspect, but it's huge. It definitely is huge. And back to Sergeant Wobble's comment about when he was in the rear with the gear at that point in time. I was 1345 heavy equipment operator. Did a 6-month pump. I was on the 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit, but I was, I floated around the world and got to see many countries. And but I was part of the engineer detachment, And we spent a month in Kuwait, and out of nothing, we built an operating base. You know, the dozers, heavy HE, we built the berms, the water guys did the showers. You know, like the grunts come in out of the field, they get a nice freaking hot shower. You know, you got chow, you got a hot meal, you electricity, the fuel guys. I mean, it you know, it takes all of these things, but the uniqueness is that we provide all of our own services. We don't outsource our stuff. It's all in-house, what we need. And then, you know, and then when you're done working your regular job, you're going and pulling security or fire watch or whatever, you know, like everybody does their part. You do your shifts, and it's just part of the game. It is what it is. We're not outsourcing to the army to like come do something for it, you know? Like,
yeah, just like any infantry guy, I used to dog on pogues, like, oh, you know, what do you guys, you just sitting back and having your hot meals, and then yeah, I got to you know, once I got injured and I got, you know, I got sent up to 2nd Marine Division. I was in Lejeune at the time, but that's where I worked out of for between division, 2nd Division and 2nd MEF, to kind of cut my teeth in the IT world. And kind of seeing that, just like Sergeant Bobble was just talking about, seeing that top-down picture of the Marine Corps, and plus just learning and maturing a little bit. Part of that was doing a study on Medal of Honor recipients, and a couple of these guys were in World War I, and communications back then was, "Hey, private, here's a bandolier of grenades and a 1911. Fucking good luck. Go over there and tell the V.I.C that he you know, this thing that he needs to know." You know, and one of those guys, the reason he was a Medal of Honor recipient is because, you know, he's running across the field, he sees a machine gun position, he'd solo flank it. He'd come over the hill with 2 grenades in his hand, like, surrender or we're all dying. And he took like 3 or 4 German machine gun positions like that. Yeah, but he was the comms guy, you know, whereas now we've got you just you know, say what you need to say, and you don't have to send a PFC running across the field.
Replace the batteries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. The prick 19. Oh my god.
Yeah. I actually went to Iwo Jima in 2004, and got to put my dog tags where I don't know if any of you have been to Iwo Jima actually, but yeah,
I saw it from the ship from a distance, so I'm honored. I have a little sand vial actually.
The black sand, right? Yeah. I remember giving my grandpa a big ass Gatorade bottle just full of the black sand. Yeah, he passed away. He's a Marine as well. Yeah, I got to hang my dog tags there. I still remember it like it was yesterday. It was like the aura of being there was just tremendous. Going in the tunnels where the Japanese would hide. Shit you not, guys. I wish I had the picture still, but it was on like these janky little cameras back in the day that, you know, I don't know where at. But when I did take them, and all my you know, Marines with me, they saw it. There was, I know it sounds like BS, but a bunch of orbs in every picture under the tunnel. None up top, nothing. Nope, all G, but under it. I mean, I was like, what's wrong with my camera? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I thought it was broken, and then I do it again and again, and it outside nothing, inside okay, something's going on, and yeah, it was just this crazy aura, man. It was crazy, but it was really an honor to be there. Super big honor.
Yeah.
What was that? So what was one of the things that there was so much lead on that beach, right? And that it's basically has that. Is it that because it's why it's black, yes, or has that hue to it? There's just so much blood and lead.
Yes, it's from all of the gunpowder, the lead, everything, you know, firing, whatnot, that created the hue of the sand. I was told that it already had a darker hue to it, according to the guide that we had, but it, with all of everything that happened, I mean, you know, I don't know, I don't remember how long off the top of my head the gunfights and the wars there lasted specifically, but yeah, it was it's like, you remember, right? You saw the black, it's just outrageous. Like, how does this happen, right? Like, and I live in Hawaii, guys. I should have mentioned that. I know sand like the back of my head. It's like right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I said, it was an honor, but some scary things really went down there, man. You know, and I listened to a lot of audiobooks about people who've been in the war, and there's like, they're, you know, Japanese were told never to give up ever.
Right.
Like that was their main objective, never giving up. Right. And you know, to stay in those holes and those tunnels and just defend. Like you have to have a crazy mindset to be able to do that. It's not just anybody who can do that. You know what I mean? So, you know, sucks we had to beat them down, but honor to them.
Yeah, it was a worthy adversary, to say the least. My God. Because they were big on the swords, right? Did they have the samurai with them, or a sword? No,
I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
Maybe just a bayonet type.
You could be right. I'm not sure though. I never heard that, but you could be right.
It's been a hot minute, and I'm probably mixing up the different world wars, and I don't know. Yeah,
don't worry.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so what was one of the just from a libo standpoint, what was one of the most funnest destinations, and or a crazy story that follows with that, like that ensued at a libo port on a 96er or something?
Well, is this a kid-friendly show or?
No, it's
some
not.
Of those stories, maybe no family friendly. I'm not gonna.
You know. So like I'll lead off, like, and believe me, I got some Tijuana stories that, you know, we're only talking about in person. That's for sure. But one story is, so I was in between 96 and 2000. So it was during the quiet Clinton years. So not a whole lot was really popping off. At most, Eritrea and Ethiopia were having a civil war at that time. And we did find ourselves over in Mombasa, Kenya for about a month or so. But when we stopped in Hong Kong, we were in Hong Kong for New Year's, and we were out there in town on Libo and everything. And they have like a main train that runs through the city. And of course, the train is completely packed, 100% packed. Well, I was sitting down. We get to a stop. You know, people get on, an older gentleman standing in front of me, and I get up and relinquish my seat and offer this older gentleman, my seat. You know, don't think nothing of it. Get off the stop that we get to, and you know, and ensue and having a good time and partying and everything like that. Later that evening, you know, there's a group of us. We're in the city, walking down some street, and of course, there's some locals, probably like our age, that want to, you know, test the Marines and take the room temperature challenge. And you know, we're all kind of, we may not have spoke the language, but we're all barking back and forth, right? Like, you're looking at me, what? And it wasn't going in a good direction. And lo and behold, in front of this store, an older gentleman walks out of the store. He totally diffuses the situation, sends those guys turning around and heading in the opposite direction. And who is it? It's the guy that I gave my seat up to, who just saved our ass from getting our shit kicked out of us. I mean, to this day, I'm just like, are you like, I don't know, man. It's a small world, and things, divine intervention, karma, I believe in all of it. Shit happens. But that blew me away. I was like, come on, man. You just can't make that shit up. But that's probably one of the most PG iteration stories, like, you know. But yeah, Bobby, I don't know if you heard it in the background. We were just talking about like any type of Liberty story, missing the boat, or maybe, you know, late, even just late for formation, or getting smoked on the quarterdeck in boot camp, or I mean,
I got caught coming onto a nuclear base with a pistol in my day pack once.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
just about did federal time for that.
yeah. They frown upon that one for sure.
Yes, they do. But it was the perfect time. So I had been in for just about a year, and I was starting to get, feel too big for my britches, and it was just the thing that I needed to kind of set me back and say, like, hey, stop screwing around. It's one of those things where it's like, I could have been stubborn about it and tried to fight it, or I could just admit that I fucked up and I needed to correct course, and it was perfect. I didn't end up even losing rank, because I made that, I made the proper adjustment, and I got restricted, and I had to do my time and lost my pay, and but they were going to take rank. They were going to send me all the way back to private. So, and as an 0351 for any of the infantry guys, like the 51s, we that stuff is hard earned. I was barely making corporal by the time I got out. Whereas if I had been any other MOS, I'd have been, sergeant, low range staff. So at least in range for staff by the time I got out.
And how many years were you in again?
6.5. I signed 5 because I did security force. It's an infantry billet, like, so whenever you sign up for, like any of the 03s know what a security force guy is, at least basically.
Is that like MSG, like Marine Security Guard duty, or something?
Not exactly. So you do, it's something that they offer to guys whenever they, like, so if you get somebody that wants to do infantry, most of the time the recruiters will offer it because they get they're incentivized to fill those roles with guys that don't have. So like if you have any kind of trouble with the law when you're younger and stuff, you're probably not going to pass selection. So there's a screening process. You can't have past drug problems or alcohol problems or money problems and things like that. But basically you either go to one of the sub bases where they float the nuclear subs out of, or you go up to around Virginia Beach area, and those guys go out and do expeditionary. So if there's any kind of nuclear powered sub that needs to be refueled, they'll send a platoon of those guys. Those guys will post security anywhere in the world for a month or two while they do the maintenance on those nuclear subs.
Gotcha. So potentially you're the guys that are shadowing the contractors when they're maybe working on the subs.
For me, it's just we were physical security for the base, for the actual waterfront. So we actually kept watch over the boats as they were either in dry dock getting worked on, or just even when they'd moor, to let the guys, all the fat sailors shuffle off to base housing for a few months while they did resupply and stuff.
Squids, man, squids. Get it right.
Part of so the place where I was at, whenever you go from being a regular post stander to a corporal of the guard or sergeant of the guard, they can't just, because it's a Navy nuke command, they don't let the Marine command just put those guys in the slot. You actually have to do a qualification sheet. And one of the little check boxes on my qualification sheet was to actually go down into one of the Trident class subs. And I'll still, to this day, I still regret it. But I walked up to the top side watch, me 6'4" and pushing 290 with all my gear on, and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna fit. So if you just like sign off that I went down there. But now at this point in my life, it's like, man, I'm never gonna have the opportunity to go into a live nuclear sub again. So
yeah, that'd be something.
But yeah, it was just a little small like shoreside pier. This wasn't on the ocean. This was actually out near Seattle where I was at. But this thing kind of like just stuck out into the water, and sometimes there'd be submarines tied up on either side, and we'd either be in a couple of different machine gun posts along the waterfront, or you were in a vehicle just making circles, just like this, just 6 hours of just making circles and waiting for the Russians to come.
Yeah. So so up here in the Pacific Northwest, obviously, so we have Bremerton Shipyard, where a lot of aircraft carriers and whatnot come in for dry dock and maintenance, and then you have up the road is Bangor.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
Yeah, so they store all the. That's where they get resupplied. A lot of them on the East Coast or on the West Coast, and whatnot. And yeah, so being in construction myself, I'll leave it at that. I've been awarded some of those contracts and have been out there on the contractor civilian side at both of those bases working and whatnot. And, yeah, you go through all the standard background checks and this and that, but Bangor especially, man, we would they would put us in a building, we'd have to turn around while they were bringing stuff by, or work would stop, if they're moving shit from point A to point B, the whole 9 yards. It was kind of nice being back working now as a civilian on that side of it. Have any of you guys done a what's called a Tiger Cruise? Do you know what a Tiger Cruise is? So I did it when I was on the MEU as an enlisted person, but then I had the awesome opportunity to do it as a civilian on the USS Nimitz. So a Tiger Cruise is when the ship's coming back from deployment, and the friends and family of those on XYZ ship invite them on board, and you get to go from Hawaii back down to San Diego with your loved ones or friends. Yeah. So that's called a Tiger Cruise. And, they all like it because the food miraculously gets better. You got the civilians on board, right? You got to put up a show and all that. But man, for the 5 days, I was on the USS Nimitz, and I can't. But anyways, so we were up there in the officer side and everything and living the good life. And you get to see the ship's defenses, all the jets flying around, there at the fan tail, right where the arrestor hooks, the cables are, and seeing them as they're just coming in and hooking, on the second, third, fourth cables and all that. We'd all be on the flight deck, and they'd come through and punch the sound barrier right in front of you. Just whoosh, you see the vapor, and you're just hitting that Mach, breaking it. So yeah, that was, as a civilian, that was a real cool experience on that side of it. But man, I love San Diego from that standpoint. I did a lot of work loading, material handling out of the naval base San Diego and onto the ships as they were coming and going and everything. And yeah, I'm a Hollywood Marine. I went to I was at MCRD.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so just watching the planes, hating life for 3 months, and then watching the planes taking off. And
I love boot camp. I don't know what you're talking about. I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. A lot of people don't, man, but I could just I shit you not. I dream about it sometimes. That's how much I loved it. I love
it. Stays with you. It's ingrained in your soul.
Once you got used to it, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about, having people depend on you and you depend on them, and that kind of culture. It just, I don't know. It just created something in me, man. It was one of the best times of my life. You have all these stories, and I've been around. I've done some things, some I'm not proud of, some I am. But I did forget to mention that I guess my good story from the Marine Corps is I helped create or establish the Wounded Warrior Detachment in Hawaii.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So I because I was rear party, right? I had we God bless them, but we lost 31 in Afghanistan and 33 in Iraq. And the guys that came back that were hurt, we had to help them out and our way into, the Wounded Warrior Detachment here. It wasn't like the fully formed one. It was just kind of okay, you guys are the Wounded Warriors. We're just gonna help you do this, blah blah blah. And then it got to a point where I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna re-enlist. I'm gonna be with the regiment, and that was my job for 2 years. And I helped from ground up. I got a barracks, I got us vans, I got us offices. I mean, I did it all. And for about 9 months, long story. Here's a funny one. My major at the time, he was an alcoholic. He busted his ankle, like bad, like hanging. And he got kicked out because of the alcohol, and I had to do his job for 9 months by myself.
What was your rank at that time?
I was a sergeant.
Yeah,
I was a sergeant. Yeah, and it was just me because they didn't have a replacement, right, at all. And so I was running both hats, right, because I was staff NCOIC and OIC. It's the same. And guess who shows up? Take a wild guess. The big dog.
Commandant?
Yeah, the big dog. And Sergeant Major. And he comes up, I got all the Marines there, like all half broken and shit, and comes into our, the barracks courtyard, and he's like talking to me, asking me questions, and I'm just like, don't fuck up, right? And he goes, he asked me a few questions, and like I totally didn't understand what he said because this shit was way above my head, right? He was using these acronyms, and I'm just like trying to understand him, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's this. And he's like, no, I said this. Oh shit. And right when I fucked up, Sergeant Major that gave me the eye, I was like, like 4 days later, I had a 06 and a Master Sergeant take over. 4 days later.
Right.
Just because I didn't know the acronyms and I couldn't, I didn't understand what he had to say. Albeit I did all the other stuff that I said, right? I helped create and it was, that was one of the biggest things I ever did in my life. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I was, think about it, like I'm doing an 04-05's job for 8-9 months by myself, including being, staff NCOIC. And, long story short, we had a 06 come in, like I said, and then a Master Sergeant come in, and it was like the biggest shift I ever had. I was like, boom. And then they came in and they're like, well, we need to change everything. We're getting rid of everybody. We're starting fresh. And I was like, so where am I going? You're going back to the regiment. So I ran the gym for the last 2 years. Yeah. But it was a great, it was great for me to be able to do that because I got to help Marines and sailors. I got rooms converted. You talk about construction. I got rooms converted, all ADA compatible, which some of you might not know is, accessibility. So people who in wheelchairs, fully refurnished, gutted and redone. So that was really cool. And that's my favorite story from the Marine Corps, getting to help others. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah. That's, you're probably, it seems like, it's just out of necessity. Like it just was, it just seemed like something that needed to be done. And, you had to take it and run with it. And, being a sergeant, probably making all the requests, that an officer would typically request. And you get crafty, right? You get, and that's where relationship building comes in, or bartering and doing favors. And like, you never have the right shit for anything. And
I was best friends with everybody on the base. And it didn't, it helped in my favor that my wife's dad worked at facilities on base. So it was, and he was like there for already 20 plus years. Okay. So it was like, it was perfect. Anytime. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's my, he calls me uncle. Cause in Hawaii, it's uncle, right? Everything. And they're all, yeah. What? No, that's my son-in-law. Oh, okay. How can we help you? I'm like, that's it. That's all it took him to tell you I was his son-in-law. But okay. And yeah, it worked out really well. And I made a lot of friends, and you're right, bartering a lot. But that actually helped because when I took over the gym, those same relationships that I built helped me do the same thing in the gym. So the Marine gym on the base, because there's a base gym and a Marine gym. I ran the Marine gym, and I got it fully painted. I got brand new gear. I got the showers fixed. I mean, I just, you know, it was like a whole slew of things, but it's all because of what I learned. So you're totally right, man. I never thought about it like that until you said that. So thanks for saying that.
Because it was probably like you took over the gym. That probably was another restoration project. It was probably run down, abandoned, not giving a shit, and like everything until somebody does give a shit. You know, that's just how the nature of it goes. But yeah, man. So back, let's just say crypto related. It's, you know, what I've found, and I've just been kind of like sitting back and observing and being a sponge in the community and learning, you know, and there's a silent majority, and that is, you know, the military and the first responders collectively that make up in crypto. There's a good percentage and a good majority out there, and many like yourselves, you know, you never get to know you guys. I mean, people do interviews and this and that, but like, it's not, I just haven't found anything of this nature. Ultimately, the ultimate goal here of this channel, besides bridging the gap with other communities and what have you, is to try and give back. Whatever eventually down the road, if this works out, whatever like super chat money comes in or what have you, like whether it's a quarter or maybe twice a year, I want those funds to go to a charity, you know, whatever it may be, Tunnels for Towers, Travis Manion, you know, those type of organizations. Do what we can do, but I want to do it in as much decentralized manner as possible. I don't want, if at all possible, I don't want anything to do with anything fiat related or anything, right? I mean, it scares me to shit when I see on Twitter somebody will pop up and be like, yeah, donate us money and we're going to do this and that with them. Like, that's a red flag, bro. Like for me, like, oh, hell no. So one idea and concept I would like to do is I do have a token, vets token out there, veterans. And it's very, you know, it's in its beginning and its infancy. I've paired it with a lot of different LPs and just learning from like PTGC and Access Alive and whatnot, you know, pairing a token with others. It just kind of naturally begins to float up, whether you have buyers or sellers, because on the Pulse Chain side, we have AMMs, automatic market makers, and those little buggers are always buying and selling, this and that. So that naturally is helping the price. But I always ask people if they want to help either make a purchase or help provide liquidity. Anyways, long short of it is, let's say in the future we do, somebody is graceful enough, like an NFT artist, let's say, makes some military NFTs, and they, you know, like a Tang Gang, you know, Free Mint Friday or something or whatever. But let's say the charity, the donations from those NFT giveaways or what have you, if there's X amount required, obviously that would go to a charity. But on the back end, I would like for the vets token, per address that makes a donation, for that address to be rewarded a vet token, just as a token of appreciation. Just something, you made a donation, you bought this NFT, and then boom, in your wallet appears the vet token. Just something that thinking out loud. I haven't implemented it yet or anything. I need to talk to much smarter people than myself and get assistance with that. But overall, it's kind of
this one that ends in 0060.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Another idea too is making whoever decides to purchase that NFT make it be purchased only by vet. So they'd have to buy the vet token and then buy the NFT with the vet token. Maybe that could provide a little game theory as well.
There you go. I like that. So yeah, so like there's a like the deck screener. Yeah, and fucking A, bro. I was hoping you were gonna drop in. My guy, Red Squirrel. Have you guys seen his work? Bro, Red Squirrel.
Those things are badass.
I was just talking you up the last stream on Monday, just a day ago with Randy Hilarski, and like the imagery, the quality. One of my favorite ones is he's got one that's a sniper and it blinks. You know, like the image it's sick. The quality of work is over the top, my man. And it would be an honor if we work something out in the future. So up on Dexteriner there, you can see that the VETS token. Some have been successful in being able to purchase some via like 9-inch and doing like $4 buy increments to minimize the slippage as far as that goes. But just for reference sake,
I think we need a VETS Texan.
Yeah, I think we do. Most recently, like Randy Hilarski, like there's a VETS Nope pair, and Randy Hilarski was generous enough and did a pairing, and now that liquidity is up to like $1,000 or something. Just nothing to write home about, but every little bit helps, and the organicness of it is appreciated, and that's all. It's not a meme or anything of that nature, but so just putting that aspect out there, and just willing to work with whoever to pay it forward. So wherever we can do whatever with what we have a lot of assets in this community, and we can accomplish and do a lot. We've seen it, but I think it's just time and it's easier when we go into a bull market, right? I mean, green candles make all that easier to pay it forward, and everyone's fat and happy, and all that goes. So, but any closing thoughts, projects, anything everybody got on the horizon? When's your next podcast start, Wobble? Where can they find you? Would you please post your link?
Yes, please.
All your good information. Yes, please.
I will do that. Yeah, I will do that right now. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, man. And then where in Hawaii? Are you on Hawaii proper, or what island?
Oahu. I live on Oahu.
Okay.
I live about 15 minutes away from the Marine Corps base. I bought a house here in 2010.
Yeah.
Very blessed, right at the end of the housing bubble, and then before it went back up. And just where I live, I'm super blessed, man. My
Good time
house
to buy. Yep.
Almost.
Cost of living's crazy there. I mean,
it is crazy, but that my equity in my house, it doubled in less than 10 years.
Did you use the VA home loan?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, it made the most sense, right? Because you don't need to put any down payment. You know what I mean? And I was blessed enough that when I got married, my wife's parents, they's like, "Oh, here's some money for home." So we put some of that money into our house, and then just got lucky, man. You know what I mean?
Speaking of houses and VA ratings, just about every state out there, if you have any type of VA rating, your state will give you your county, excuse me, will give you a break on your property taxes. So I'm in Illinois state, and so Illinois is actually pretty great for veterans. So if there's anybody that watches this that lives in the state of Illinois, just Google the ILDVA, the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs. So Illinois state actually has their own set of people that they pay with state money to help guys do to help guys sign up for VA benefits. But one of the big things that the state of Illinois does is if you are 80% or higher, well, if you have any VA rating, they give you a break on your property taxes. But if you're 80% or higher, like myself, you get your home that you live in is you don't pay property tax on, which if you've heard about the type of taxes people normally pay in the state of Illinois, it's literally one of the things that keeps me here in the States, because I pay no taxes on the primary residence. Same
with Hawaii, but we have to pay a minimum of $250 for the total for the year, but $250 for property tax in Hawaii.
Sure, yeah.
Bro.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I'm
if you live in common California, if you live in Commie, California, you can get every tax break you can get. I think it's the same. I think it's 80% disability or above, but it only gets you, I think, up to $250,000 tax write-off. The rest, if your house is, like, say your house is worth $1 million, you're only getting that tax break up to, like, I think $250,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, like myself, I'm 20% rated. I just had submitted a package, and of course I got denied. But that's as those that do know, like, that's not where it stops. Like, you keep going, and you repackage it and what have you, and it's a whole fucking process. Many people have said it's taken them 3 years. I mean, it's always because, yeah, there you go, right? Proof from the pudding.
8 years.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good stream just in general, because I think a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth about how that whole process works. And there's private companies out there that will help you do the repeal process and stuff. Yeah, they take a cut, but for
it's
example,
for life.
I've been out.
Once you're in, it's for life.
Right? Who cares? I mean, if they want to take a cut right off the top for the year, and then for the rest of the year, for the rest of your life, it's yours, right?
Yes and no.
I just
like
mine this year. But
no, I'm finished. Please, I can say after. Go ahead.
Sure. I was just saying I kept saying no, I wasn't going to do it, just because I just thought that they weren't going to do anything. And then it was just like one person right after another just saying, you need to do this, and I felt like it was kind of a sign. So I finally did it, and it had good results. And I remember almost like tearing up when I got that letter saying, yeah, you're good to go, because I really didn't think that they didn't care. So to all the veterans out there who'd never even tried, I mean, you're just missing out. There's a whole network available, and there's something to be said when you have, even if it's just a 20% to 50% rating, that might be enough to just help you navigate a new section of your life. Even if you just you want to make a change and stuff, that little security blanket can help change everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I totally agree with you on that. In my process, it did take quite a long time, and I should have, started with this as well. But when I got out, I actually got out right when I was supposed to, but I got a medical discharge because of all the injuries I had. So I got 0%, but I got a severance, which is not how they usually do it.
Right.
But what I was saying is you mentioned something that said for life. Well, you got to keep an eye on those things, because there's a few things that a lot of us don't know and understand in how it works. There's a new law that is trying to get passed right now, that they want to try and take some of our, I can't remember the exact. It's benefits, but there's a specific word I'm trying to find. But yes, they are trying to reduce some of our benefits by one or two different things.
Yeah, changing ratings. There's a couple categories where they're reclassifying different,
Yes.
I think maybe migraines. I don't want to guess.
Yeah, I don't remember all of them, but there's a guy that's on YouTube, Combat Craig. His name is Combat Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch a few.
Yeah, the guy knows his stuff, and he's really good. But I'll tell you the secret real quick. If you really want to keep your benefits, and this is for any veteran out there, you guys included, every month, and I mean like clockwork, you make a calendar, whatever you got to do to make it happen. Every single month, you go to the doctor and you tell them what is wrong with you, and you make sure you continue that treatment, because once you stop getting treatment, regardless of what it is you're going for, they will eventually look at that and reevaluate you and say, oh, you got better because you stopped getting treatment. And if you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I can say other things but I would do that off camera to help people, because I don't want the VA to know all of our secrets. Forget them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But there are things that you can do to continuously do it. And I'll tell you, for me, I had a combined rating of 100%. And because I was consistent, after 4 years, I randomly got a letter just in two years ago. hey, you're permanent and total. I
There
didn't
you
have to
go.
get it. I didn't get no interviews. I didn't get no tests. I didn't get nothing because I continued my treatment. They deemed my injuries that they wouldn't get better, and now I'm permanent and total, 100%. And permanent and total 100% is completely different from combined 100%. You get so much more. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you have children, they go to school for free and they get paid. When you get a combined 100, I mean permanent and total 100%, you don't get that with just combined. You have to have permanent and total. There's so many things that you get. So yeah, let's have a conversation about this in the future, guys. Like all of us should be a part of that. If you know more and say it, like just let's do it. I want to help others. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, agreed 100%. Man, because there's just so many different intricacies and each level there's different benefits unlocked at different levels, and even at the state level. Like I think here, if you get 30% in Washington State, you get state free entry into state parks, this and that. All of us can get the federal one where free admission to the national parks and stuff.
Yep.
I got the Bald Eagle, whatever, that opened up. But they need to open, and it has been opening up. But yes. So I think, was it a thing after like 10 years? I think you get locked in as well.
I think that's a myth, man. Because I have a few friends that still haven't gotten it, and they're very, very spotty with their treatment. Like I told you, I have no other reason to say that I got permanent and total other than I mean, every week for the last 7 years, every week, Wednesday, 8:30 in the morning, I see my therapist. We do telehealth. I talk to her every freaking week. But what's 30 minutes of my day to keep a benefit for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? You talked about for the rest of our lives, right?
Right.
That's exactly why I do it. Like I'm like, and yeah, you know what? Sometimes I need to talk. Like shoot, like you know what I mean? Us Marines, don't let the label of being depressed, PTSD, or whatever scare you, because who cares about a label if you're gonna go get help? The biggest strength that most people don't have is just the strength to ask for help.
Yeah, if you blow out the rear end in your truck, you take it to a mechanic.
Exactly.
If you're having problems in your brain box, you need to talk to a brain mechanic. There shouldn't be a stigma around it. This is just a person that is trained and dealing with, mostly with strategizing. That's what a good therapist is good at. They're not there to like baby you along and tell you it's going to be okay. They're there to listen and then to give you strategies for how to work around the hangups that you have.
That's beautiful, man. Because my doctor does that. Every time I talk to her, I tell her, like, you always make me figure out my own shit. You don't ever just give me the answer. And she goes, that's right. You figured it out. And I go, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this was years ago when I figured that out. But seriously, he's right. You're 100% right, man. Thanks for saying that. That's it's good to hear people say that.
That's putting the tools in the toolbox. You got to have the tools to process and deal with it. Some compartmentalize, put up barriers. It doesn't help us in the real world with life and relationships and this and that. And like, if nobody's home and you're just kind of just, like it's not good, So right on for you for just taking care of yourself, and your family is benefiting obviously in having you there with them and present in real time, and so that's huge. But yeah, so Harmonic was throwing up the for Combat Craig. Yeah, if anyone just Googles it, he's out there. He comes across my streams all the time and everything. On that, there's 3 or 4. Currently right now I'm personally utilizing like Veterans Guardian. They're taking me through that process. There's that other one with Brian Reese, whatever, I forget. yeah, I can't think of the name of that one, but they've been, but yeah. So in talking about, yeah, I mean, you got DAV, that's been huge. They've been around since the early 1900s in the beginning. Like they're as legit gets. And just even trying to get a copy. Have you guys held on to your service record books with all your stuff? Most importantly, your medical records. Yeah,
I got that.
Because otherwise, trying to go through the National fucking Archives is like, that's just fuck. Yeah.
A thing you might want to do, if most of you may not have, or maybe you have, I don't know, but for veterans out there that do have it, go get it digitalized. Because inevitably, like a lot of those papers, the ink will kind of dry out and you'll lose certain things. So go get them digitalized. It's very cheap. It costs, I think it was $50 when I did it. Now, obviously, that was, I don't know, 10 years ago. But still, go get it digitalized. That way you have a copy of it no matter where you're at all times.
Yeah, and that can even be as simple as taking a picture of it with your damn phone. There, it's digitalized. Scan it. Obviously.
Yeah, then use you zip it with a password, so that way it's not just out there, and then throw it out on your Google Drive. Everybody's got a Gmail address. Throw it out on the Google. You're like, don't put it out there plain text, so that Google can get whatever they want out of it. So put a password on it, and then put
because what's littered on every single fucking piece of paper.
Yeah, the social.
Our social. Our social is everywhere. Like, hey, my God. Let alone just with all the facial recognition and DNA and stuff like that. Like, I mean, they got all of our shit already. Like, I mean,
oh, they had our shit, bro. Fingerprints.
Can't win.
How many anthrax shots did you guys get? Huh? How many?
Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, I don't even know what I was lining up in BAS for. I mean, they just be there with the air gun and just like, psh, psh, next. Psh, psh,
yep.
Psh. Like, fuck. Like every other day, it's like we're down here in BAS. What the fuck's going on, man? Like,
remember taking all that doxycycline? Yeah. Do you know how bad that is for you now that you're out?
Yeah, I took it. So I've got families that are in nursing and stuff, and I took I actually took a semester of nursing school. I thought I wanted to be a nurse when I was younger. So when they handed me that stuff, I was like, cycline, that's like a broad spectrum antibiotic. And I was like, you're gonna destroy your gut bacteria taking this stuff. I took it for like a couple days, and then I went off of it for like a week, and I was like, fuck this stuff. I didn't take it for the rest of the time.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that, but I wish I would have, because it fucked me up big time. Yeah. You heard of the recruit?
It's a common side effect to have it affects your dreams and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we could talk hours about that, bro. Hours.
Mm-hmm.
How's your guys' central nervous system? Do you guys ever have any I don't know, like
I got a gas oven. Gas oven. When the gas oven lights, that's like one thing that's probably always gonna take me back. Just for a fraction of a second. If I'm standing next to the oven when the gas oven, whoomp, you get that little bit of a. But that's like my one thing. Other than whenever I got back to Camp Lejeune, the headquarters building that I had to go to, I swear, I don't know, it was like the worst of luck. Like every time I'd walk into that freaking headquarters building, I'd be about this far from the door, reaching for the handle, and the daily pistol range on the waterfront would light up behind me. Oh my God. There again, for just a half a second, I was right back there,
Yeah, fireworks for me. I know that, yeah. When fireworks go off, like, because I live in Hawaii, so it's like people just randomly pop shit. Like,
how about this last 4th of July? You guys it was a big FU to everybody in Hawaii did, and all the islands, I think, just lit off fireworks because of how shitty all that worked. I don't know,
long, dude. We could talk about that for hours as well. Like,
yeah, man.
You guys heard that they're trying to remove Trump here too on the fucking ballot?
like every Democratic state's now thinking like they're smart and we'll try it and this and that.
I just hope that Supreme Court, rules in his favor and gets him back on all the ballots, because that's who we need. Like, I have no shame in saying it. I don't care about any other Democrats out there, Republicans. I don't give
want Ice Cream Man for 4 more years.
I
I
think
want someone who doesn't have to wear a diaper. What's that?
I think the Supreme Court's doing arguments this week on it, so hopefully we'll have some conclusion on that.
Let's hope, brother. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Going back to what trigger, I was thinking smells.
All right, take it easy,
I'll be
brother.
around.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Anybody starting wobbles, hit me up if you wanna do an episode sometime. I'll help you out.
Yes, sir. We'll do. Thank you.
I'm sure we got stuff to talk about with VA and anything. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Nice to meet you, Casey. Good to meet you in person, Vets.
Yeah, thanks,
Nice to
brother.
meet you too, brother.
So yeah, Casey, follow up on the trigger.
Oh, it's the smells. So if there's if it's a kind of a foggy day, but there's like smoke in the air, it reminds me of Afghanistan. Like this real, like if it's a dense air, that triggers me. But not like sounds but the smells. It's something like that will trigger. Like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Yep.
Speaking on that, do you know anything about the PAC Act that's going on?
I was gonna circle to that.
All right, perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's not everything it's cracked up to be.
Okay.
I mean, it's there's assumptions if you meet the following criteria, but it's mainly for respiratory conditions and everything that applies in that realm. Besides they're so backlogged, it's ridiculous because they made such a big push, but they didn't set everything up. The VA's doing, I guess, decent. Then they're trying to, they're authorizing overtime and everything to try to process the god awful amount of claims that have been submitted and everything. But it's not just a blanket thing. It's very specific to respiratory different cancers or conditions, and if you meet that type thing. But what else do you have to expand on that?
No, I mean, especially for guys like you said, Afghanistan, right? A lot of that respiratory stuff, the shit pits where they had to burn all the shit, like that's extremely toxic. I mean, and I know exactly, because where I was at in Afghanistan and Mathralam, Sadabad, other places, the shit pit was like, I mean, we must have lived like 30 feet away from it. You know what I mean? Like, damn. And now that you learn all these things about what it can do to you, and you talk about nervous system, like we have no idea what is possible or what happened to us, especially you said Casey, you did 3 tours, right? Like, man, like I can only imagine the stuff that you've put your body through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about the burn pits, and like you see these little explosions. You're like, what is that? And then you see them dumping almost virtually everything in there, like all batteries, spent batteries, and like, oh, there goes another battery.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So so we would throw in diesel fuel in the shitters, and just be fucking stirring it up, as it's burning and whatnot. And you didn't know any better, it's maybe somebody was smart enough and threw like a t-shirt around your mouth. I mean, just to maybe not get all the black tar or the silt. But you're still
you weren't going nowhere though if you were posted at like the perimeter of a base where a lot of those burn pits were. So if you were stuck there, if you're on an ECP, or ain't no getting around that.
I mean, whatever the way the wind's blowing, all the carcinogens and everything of that nature, just horrible. Look at Harmonic coming up with the links today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, if I'm going to add to about the PACT Act, you know, because I like I said, I just went through some of the processes this year for the first time.
Yeah.
Even though I've been out for 10 years, was the presumptives, right? So the PACT Act adds another layer of presumptives that don't necessarily need all that evidence based. It's more of just like, hey, we recognize this, and if you have these symptoms or have these illnesses, the presumptive allows the VA to kind of streamline those compensation packages if need be, or get you the care you need.
A fast track.
There's something that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, though, when it comes to like reintroducing themselves back into the VA system after they've already been rated. You have to understand that, and I'm not saying this is true, so don't quote me on this, but from a perspective of seeing others go through this, when you decide you want to reintroduce yourself and do the PACT Act or something else, you open yourself up to getting reviewed for all of your different disabilities that you've already been rated for. So there's the opportunity for them to then remove X, Y, and Z from you. So be careful of, oh, we're going to give you this and that. Like, oh, yeah, but we're going to take this away with it. Right? That's very important.
If they call you in to do something, you better go. Because if they are doing a review and they say, hey, we'd like to just do a whole checkup on you, and you miss that, you might lose your ratings on your other things. So don't miss your
every review, every time you go to the doctor. This is the last thing I'm going to say about this, because I can go again. It's the worst day you've ever had.
Yes.
Every day you go, I mean, every time you go, I'm a 10 on my pain or whatever, you know, like your shoulder pain, your head pain, your whatever. Oh, it's a 10. I'm like, I can't see. I need to sleep, you know, whatever it is. It's always the worst. Don't ever talk about how you're feeling right now, because you could be feeling great today. Talk about your worst day.
Yep.
That's that.
Yep. No, 100% to that point. And then even just with some of the physical stuff, they go by how much you can flex or angles. They measure everything, right? So, you know, you go to the point where you feel something, you know, like there's a lot of little gotchas that they go by that they're going, you know, so study up, learn and be smart about it. You know, one thing I learned when I was in, and I wish like we could speak or share to more active duty, but a lot of them hopefully talk amongst themselves. And then I know my peeps did when I was in, because they made a point about, you know, get everything documented. Like you go to medical, don't just have fucking the corpsman give you more, you know, Ranger candy and ibuprofen or whatever. Right? Like, fuck, there's a cure-all for everything. But get it written down, man. It's got to be in there, because that shit is like the Bible. And 20 years later, when you have an ailment that pops up and you finally get out of your own way and you're like, okay, I'm going to go and file, then there's something back. Because the biggest thing they look for is that nexus, the connection between a service injury, you know, so service connected event to the injury, the nexus, trying to connect that. And if there's something in your medical record book, that helps you tremendously, rather than going through all the hoops and trying to get personal letters or statements and this and that, and, you know, getting psych evals and all this other stuff. Get it when you're active duty, get it written, not annotated in your medical record book.
That's you know, on that, for those soon to be veterans, soon to be active, that is something that I've told to multiple kids that are, oh, I want to be in the Marines, in the Army, the blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, respect, but make sure two things: make sure you're going to learn something that you can use when you get out. One, very important. Two, document everything. What do you mean? If you break a toenail, document it, because in 10 years it may grow this way and you went, I was just, well, you didn't document it, so they don't know. That's your fault. Like, and they're like, they're still dumbfounded. So there's got to be a better way for us, you know, veterans, to lead the way, to tell these young young kids, hey, take care of yourself. Like, it's not like if you don't have a healthy you, there's no more rest of your future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's important for us as older veterans to do. Like, we need to pave the way forward for these young guys. They don't know anything, and it's up to us to share that knowledge.
Yeah. It's hell getting old, right? Now, if you do ever do a search, there are a lot of young Marines that do post and make their own YouTubes, and I mean, those guys, there's some of them that share like the boot camp experience, and they break it down week to week, and so there's some out there that
Really?
try to
Wow.
put it, yeah.
And they use their phones in boot camp?
No. Like it'll be after,
Oh,
fresh after, but they'll talk about their experience and document, put it out there, and you do a little bit of search, and you'll find it.
well, I know there's a few Marines out there that are extremely big on social media, 2, 3, 4 million followers and whatnot. And, but they're more about the fitness. Yeah. And the whole, I'm a Marine and, I can lift big weights and bullshit like that. Like, hey man, great. When you're our age, come tell us how you really feel. Tell us how the body really feels. But, enjoy your time now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you donate your body to the government, and it's thrashed. It's amazing. A lot of things start in your feet, because what are we always wearing? Doing all this crazy shit, like the most shittiest fucking combat boots, boots and utes runs on the beach, pavement. Running around with the guidon stick on blacktop, and just all the stupid, crazy stuff. Like, those are not like, and just boots, and then just your feet and everything that starts, and it just everything radiates up from your feet to your knees to your back, and it's like, it's horrible. But anyways, not everybody's had the same experience. I want to say I didn't mind my experience. I got brothers and sisters for life. We still get together and do a Marine reunion for whoever can get together at least once a year. We all get together. It's an amazing when you share an experience, and everyone goes through a shit experience, and that's what bonds you, and you do it for the person on your left and the person on your right, and hope it carries you through and gets you through that worst case, that hardship.
Can I touch on that real quick? Being a Marine, one thing I've noticed, and I'm, I joined 20 years ago now. Wow, man, I feel old.
Right? That's a trip.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Damn, I'm almost there too. 20.
Yeah.
No.
The camaraderie that we have, no matter where you're at in the world, you come across a Marine, whether male or female, it doesn't matter. It's an instant bond. I mean, instant. I was in California a couple of weeks ago, actually early December, and I was at this car wash because I was, my auntie let me borrow her car, so I went and got it washed. And this Marine, he comes in, old guy, right? He's like, he runs this place, blah, blah, blah. Sure enough, he tells me he's a Marine. He tells me his whole story. I mean, we talked for 30 minutes, and it was like, I feel like I know you already. Like, what's up, man? Like, but you don't. I don't know if other branches have this. I really don't, because I wasn't a part of it. But I know for us, we're so small, we're so tight knit that we're always going to have that bond that can never be broken. And it's beautiful, man. It really is.
Yeah. No, agreed. You even see it. I just visually with stickers on vehicles. I hardly see Navy, Air Force. There's some Navy, there's some Army dogs out there here or there, but like the most proud people from what I've seen are Marines. I see
never have to ask a Marine if he's a Marine. Never have to ask a Marine if he's a Marine. Isn't you ever think about it when we have conversations? Try and think about it right now. Oh shit, I tell everybody I'm a Marine.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
but you're so proud of it because that's who you are. Like, you know, it really is. We're a Marine. Yeah, we're a human being, but we're a Marine. Simple.
Well said.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But yeah, man. So we'll definitely we'll wrap this up. We'll definitely circle back. There's a lot to unbox and unpack and all that. But this was good. This was great. It was needed. I think it's hopefully filling a void in at least in the crypto world. And we bring more people out and spread the word and get more involved. You know, there's been obviously more of a heavier military emphasis in the beginning of this. Anybody that's listening, I would love to, you know, it's also about first responders. They deal and see nasty shit every day. Even people on the homeland. I mean, we can talk about, you know, just what those amazing people do on the daily. And that mental stress and PTSD from seeing all the shit on the street, and you know, just there's a lot out there. There's a lot of hurting units and people everywhere, in every rock climbing place and job. But this is good. I think this is good. All right, Case. I know you're not on any socials. It's always good when you pop up. You made an appearance on the Hex conference. That was really cool. Any departing words?
Parting words is, you know, there's a lot of veterans that are in crypto, and they're, you know, I've obviously been very. I'm like the master lurker, so to speak, right? I'm reconnaissance.
Yeah, you are.
But there's a lot of us that don't have socials. I mean, that is just a personal thing. I got off socials about 10 years ago. I had a fake Twitter account to get up on news and stuff, but most people in the community know me. But I know there's a lot more people probably like me who are veterans who are just trying, but they're interested, right? They're into what kind of molds the same as like a military unit and also like the crypto gangs. I mean, it's kind of, there's a similarity there, and that's what's attracting us. So if you're out there and you kind of like me, where you're not really into the socials or have a social stance in the digital world, just get involved. You know, I'm going to try and do better as well. Go to the meetups, meet these people in person. It's a lot of fun. And it's been part of my healing journey as well as a vet. To find a community outside of just the military, which is very hard. Everybody kind of goes their own ways, but it's definitely been good for me. And so again, I don't have any socials, but you guys can get a hold of me through a good old fashioned telephone or text or email. And there's people out there that know me that have my contact info. So that's it.
You gotta share contact after. I'm down with that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Sergeant Wobble, where can we find you? And
I mean, you know, I'm Sergeant Wobble everywhere. SGTWOBBLE. My name's Aaron. For any of those that, you know, want to know, you know, I have no shame in being either or. In the Marine Corps, I went by Q. My last name starts with a Q, so Q ball, Q everything. If you want to throw it out there,
I like it.
You know, that's what us Marines do, right? We have that lovely banter between us all. You know, I have Mindset Driven podcast. You know, I like helping people. I really do. It really does come down to that. And I think, you know, it is an inherent need for me to do because of the nature that I grew up in. I don't know as much as you guys do. I could tell by, you know, just sitting here listening and talking, but that's good because that gives me an opportunity to learn. I believe in learning every single day, no matter what. Reading, listening to something, doesn't matter what it is. 20, 30 minutes can change your life. You never know. So I appreciate the time you guys, you know, gave here and the things that I've learned from you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Sounds good, gents. I'm gonna send us out here with a little something. Let's see if I can clear this, clear that.
Yes, sir.